For 7 years we were intertwined, 4 of them bound by the vows of marriage. Our life, though far from flawless, was ours. A patchwork of shared vacations, midnight conversations, and plans for a future that shimmered with promise. I believed we were walking the same path, hand in hand, moving toward the same future. But I was wrong. It began so quietly, like a whisper I couldn't ignore. She started going out more, at first with coworkers, then with strangers whose names I didn't even know. Her phone became a fortress. Screen turned away when I approached, her smile lingering over messages she quickly shielded from my view. I saw it, but I convinced myself not to read into it. I didn't want to be that partner, the one who doubted, who questioned every small shift. Trust, I told myself, meant releasing petty fears, letting go of the small things. But then one evening, she shattered everything. "What if we opened our marriage?" she asked, her tone light as if she were suggesting a weekend getaway. I laughed, expecting her to join in, but she didn't. "I mean it," she said, her gaze unwavering. "People aren't meant to be confined. I want to explore." The words hit me like a slow fracture in my chest, splitting the solid foundation of everything we had built. I tried to argue, tried to remind her of what we had, what we'd promised. "Explore." I echoed, my voice tight. "We built a life together. You're free within that." Our commitment wasn't just a contract, it was us. Her gaze shifted, guilt perhaps, but also something colder, more resolute. Then came the ultimatum. "If you can't handle it, we should end this." That night, sleep eluded me. Her words echoed in my mind, drowning out the memory of the years we'd spent together. I couldn't understand how those moments, those tender moments, could mean so little to her. I spent 3 days in silence, going through the motions, wearing a mask of normality, while inside I was unraveling. My mind weighed every option, but every thought kept coming back to the same conclusion. I couldn't live in a marriage built on such a fracture. On the 4th night, she came home late. When she stepped inside, she saw me sitting at the kitchen table, a suitcase by the door. "What's that?" she asked, her voice shaking, uncertain. I looked up at her, my tone colder than it had ever been. "You gave me 2 paths, share your bed or divorce. I'm choosing a third. I'm walking away. Not because you demanded it, but because I see you clearly now." Her face changed, anger, confusion, maybe even fear flickered in her eyes. She hadn't expected this. She thought I would beg, plead for her to stay. But I didn't. "You don't mean that," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I do," I replied, my voice steady, though inside I felt like I was shattering. "You want to be untethered? The door's open. Take what's yours." Her eyes welled with tears, and for a moment I saw her. The woman I had once vowed to love. But that woman no longer existed. I wasn't that man anymore. She tried to backtrack, her words scrambling to regain control, to convince me it was just a passing thought, that we could talk it through. But I had already heard enough. Some betrayals don't deserve words, they demand actions. I didn't have the energy to fight anymore. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and walked out, leaving behind the home we had built, the life that had once felt so solid, now scattered in pieces by her choices. I didn't raise my voice, didn't break down. I just left. 2 weeks later, the divorce was finalized. She tried reaching out, texts, calls, but I ignored them, let them fade into the distance. Friends told me she was struggling. The freedom she had longed for hadn't been a thrill. It had been a lie. The open world she sought had left her drifting, untethered, unable to find what she had lost. I didn't wish her pain, but I didn't look back either. The strength I found wasn't in holding on. It was in knowing when to let go. In the months that followed, I rediscovered myself. I reconnected with old friends, picked up hobbies I had abandoned, and took a solo trip, something I'd dreamed of for years. My life wasn't perfect, but for the first time in years, it was mine again. I was no longer bound by the weight of her demands, no longer confined by expectations I hadn't agreed to. I heard about her, how she couldn't find what she was looking for, how she bounced from one fleeting relationship to another, none of them lasting. She had tied her identity to our marriage, and when it collapsed, she had nothing left. The freedom she had wanted so badly hadn't healed her. It had left her empty. I didn't turn back, not out of spite, but because I had learned something vital. True love doesn't demand you erase yourself to belong. It honors boundaries, respects individuality, and nurtures mutual commitment. She wanted to wander to break free, but in doing so, she lost something irreplaceable, me. And I learned the hardest truth of all. Sometimes, the only way to hold on to your worth is by rejecting a choice that demands you sacrifice it. By refusing her terms, I reclaimed my life. For the first time in a long time, I could finally breathe again.